So the first thing to do is up here, I'm just trying to think if we should do it within this. Yeah, we'll do it within this. So if not logged in. So the first thing to do is to check if each form field exists in our form, so if everything's been correctly submitted, and we use the isSet function for this. So if isSet, we can pull this down and it's going to look a bit better readability. So if isSet $_post username and isSet $_post password and isSet $_post password again, and we go down the list and we just basically input and copy the code for everything. So we've got first name, and then we've got surname. So let's go and bring this up there and bring this up there. So we're using this to check if each field has been submitted. So we've got username, password, password again, username, password. That's fine. So now we open up to our block. And now what we need to do is check. In fact, we'll put this all on one line just so it's out of the way. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to check if they're empty or not. So let's come down again so it looks a bit neater. So if not empty, in fact what we'll do before this is we will create the variables in themselves. Because we've already checked, we're not going to receive an undefined index error. So now we can set them into their own variables because we know they exist. So username equals $_post username. Password equals $_post password. Then we obviously have password again, and that equals $_post, and the field name is password again. Then we have first name, and that's equal to $_post first name, and the same with surname. So we're finally at the last one. You can probably see now why I didn't include irrelevant data that wouldn't fit the suitability of the tutorial. We're not going to go down and create loads of fields, otherwise we'd be here for hours typing out things, when I'm sure after this you'll be able to work out how to add your own fields. So we've got the fields that we need. Password again is something we're not going to be inserting into the database. That's just going to be for our checks inside here. The first thing we want to do is check if all fields have been filled in, because all fields are required. So let's say if not empty username and not empty password and not empty password again and not empty first name, and last but not least not empty surname. Okay, so now we can create a block to see if these are not empty, to run if these are not empty I mean, but otherwise we need to give a message to our user. We need to say please fill, or say all fields are required. Okay, so this is our error. Inside here we can echo OK for now, just to see if everything exists. If this OK does not echo, and nor does this, this will, we know that we might have an error, and we have inputted all data. We know that we might have an error with our naming or something like that, so always check that if you receive an error. So let's go ahead and click the button, register button, without typing any data in. We get the message all fields are required. Let's just enter 1. All fields are required, so let's fill them all out now. One, two, three. First name Alex, surname Garrett, and let's click register. and we've got the message up the top, OK. Now you'll probably notice that like, let's say we were to enter our username, our password, and our first name, but we were to exclude our surname and we click register, we have this error up here, but you've noticed that all the fields have now disappeared because we've resubmitted back to the page. We are not keeping these values. So what we do is we take these values here and we input them into our field, and we do this using the value here. So if I was to say value of username equals Alex, you can see that when we refresh, this says Alex. So what we can do is, what the data that's already submitted we can include within this form. So if we open up PHP tags, we're writing inline code now, we can echo out the username. So what will happen is the page will be submitted, this variable here will be set to Alex, for example. It might be set to Billy, it might be set to anything, but then we'll come down, and even if we get this error, we're still going to be putting this value in here. So let's do that to all fields, not the password fields, because we don't want them to remain. So for the first name, we want to open up PHP tags, echo first name, and for the surname, value equals PHP tags, echo surname. Done. So now we can return to our page. I'm going to enter Alex, I'm going to put my password in, and I'm going to type in my first name. Now if we click register, you can see that our username and our first name stay. Our surname's obviously blank, so we didn't enter it in the first place, but our passwords have gone. This is just for security reasons. You don't want to keep the password in there. Most websites don't, so I don't recommend you do. Now if we click register, we haven't entered the password, so all fields are required again. We've clicked register, our information is staying, we enter our information, click register, and it's OK.